So let's turn the page now while we have a couple more minutes. What's your early read on the Florida-Houston title game?
First thing I'll say is, and this is no knock on him, I thought Walter Clayton was the best player in the gym tonight.
By far.
In both games.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And I think he's made his mark, and I think he made him a shit ton of money tonight. If I'm being honest with you, I really do, because I do think he was good enough to play at the next level, but I'm going to find it hard to find 30 guys that are going to go before him when June rolls around. I also don't think that he'll be as effective against Houston's defense. We know what they do defensively to teams. We know how they like to guard ball screens. I know they run a ton of the 5 out in the zoom action and stuff. They're going to be prepared for that stuff. It's not unlike things that they haven't seen before. He's going to have to rely on his teammates to make plays, and they're going to have good ball movement. But after what I just watched here tonight, Houston might just be the team of destiny. I got to go with the Cougs, man. I'm staying with them.
But you could say that, okay, I hear you, the team of destiny. I mean,
about
Florida, how many games have they won coming back?
Absolutely.
Both of these teams, the beauty is no matter what the score is going to be, one team down 10, 12, 14 in the second half, both these teams are going to think, like, we can win this.
Think about this. Think about this. Houston, you had to put Duke in the casket. I mean, they were planning for your funeral, and you rose out of the casket and you put them in it.
Undertaker.
Florida almost didn't make it out of the first weekend of the tournament. They had to take Dan Hurley and make sure that the nails were bolted in because he was trying like hell to stay alive. And then Grant McCasland, Texas Tech.
It was like over.
It looked over. How many times have some of these games looked over in this tournament? What's your early read?
This reminds me a little bit of the 2015 Final Four, right? When Kentucky came in undefeated, and they make it and they play a Wisconsin team that had Sam Decker, that had Frank Kaminsky, and they toppled Goliath. They beat the big, bad, undefeated Kentucky Wildcats, Sean Calipari, Carl Towns, that whole, the Devin Booker, that whole team. And they came out in the championship game against Duke, and they lost. And part of it, I remember talking with them afterward, part of it was that it was hard for them after they won that game to get back up for it.
Yeah, Kaminsky just told us.
Yeah. It was hard for him to get going again after you just got this huge, massive win against a team no one thought could lose. And I don't know if that's necessarily something you should be concerned about with Houston.
Right. I don't think you should be concerned at all.
I feel like they're the same. I feel like Houston's approach
it's
is
also
never going to change.
full 1 seeds too. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, we just knocked down Goliath. And I think was that the year Kentucky was like undefeated?
Yeah, they were
entire
38-0.
year?
That was
yeah,
first loss. We all thought they were
I
going to go
think
40-0.
I think it's different. I think it's a little bit different. But and I definitely don't think we have anything to worry about with the Cougars, man. I think they're going to come prepared.
So we just saw Auburn's front line beat up on Florida's front line for 20 minutes, and Florida turn around and win that fight in the second half.
Yep.
You're going up against a team that's just as physical, longer, more athletic, do a lot of the same things. Try to crash the glass, do a lot of the same things. Can Florida's front line handle what they're about to see with Jawan Roberts and JoJo Tugler and Javier Francis and these Houston Cougars?
I think they're going to have to match their effort and intensity on the glass. I think that's where the game is going to be at. If you're going to give Houston offensive rebounds, like double-digit level offensive rebounds, and they start getting all those kickback outs to Cryer and Sharp for threes, you're going to have a long night. Because I don't think this is going to be a typical Florida game where it's going to be 80-plus points. Sampson is not going to let it get to that. He's going to shorten the possessions. He's going to make them play in the 60s and 70s.
That worries me too. But I'm going to go with my original pick to win the whole thing, which was Florida.
You had them beating Houston in the title game, didn't you? Who had Houston when we originally did this? You had Houston. You had Houston winning it all.
I had Houston beating Duke and then Florida beating Houston.
Shoot, good for you. Can you tell me what the lottery numbers are going to be tomorrow?
No, because I had Michigan State in the Final Four, and so it's a new point.
You're not going to get them
Come
all.
on, no. You know what? To me, it gets decided. It's a guards game at the end of the day.
Yes.
Which backcourt uses
Certainly
their
has
length?
been.
and imposes their will defensively. If Houston, the defensive team that has the formula for virtually everyone, like even Cooper Flagg late in the game tonight struggled. They eventually broke him. Can they get Walter Clayton to break? To blink.
Who do you
Like
who do you
Jarrell
who do you
said.
put on him? Who do you put on him? Who you? What's your? Let's do that.
I'm
What
gonna
are
say-
your matchups in the backcourt?
We've got
I
so much
think-
time to look at
I
that.
think you put Elijah Martin on LJ Cryer. I think you
You're
put
saying
Will
that.
Richard on Uzin, and I think you put Walter Clayton on Emmanuel Sharp. That's what I would do.
Uzan might be my key to the game because he's got to play better on
Yeah, he
Monday
does.
night.
He's gotta be
He's got to turn it on, and maybe he will. He normally doesn't have back to. The thing is, when you look at Houston, everybody thought when they barely beat Purdue that, oh boy, this is the same old. And then do you look what they did to Tennessee? That's why I don't worry about them game to game. They could come out and punch Florida in the mouth. You don't want to let that team get a lead, or else you're going to be trying to grind your way back. My original pick was Florida, so I guess I'm going to stay committed to my original pick on the
But you
bracket.
don't feel great either, do you?
How could you?
You can't. You can't. You can't.
I don't.
I went 0 for 2 tonight.
You and me both.
Yeah, I mean and I said it going in. I'm like, I don't feel good about any of these picks because
That means it's a pretty good
they're
Final
so-
Four.
Yeah, that's what it means. It means that
Think about
evenly
the
matched
shot making.
teams.
Think about the shot making we're going to see tomorrow. Think about what LJ Cryer did tonight. Think about what Walter Clayton did tonight, and think about what they are going to do in the national champion. Like there are going to be some ridiculous shot makes.
So
Walter Clayton hit one in the corner over there
Yeah.
when he kind of fumbled the catch, and he takes a sidestep dribble over Chad Baker-Mazar. They like high-fived at the top, and he swished it. I'm telling you, man, like that dude is the most nonchalant assassin. Like it is ridiculous the shots that he makes, and it's like he's not even trying. It doesn't register. You're in the Final Four, and you are making ridiculous threes over one of the best teams in the country.
You know who
like
could have used him this year?
Duke,
St. John's.
St. John.
Oh God.
Imagine.
Yeah, they could have.
You just decided to twist that knife, huh?
I'm just saying.
Rub it in.
They're worried.
Just let them
They're
know.
all asleep. The St. John's.
They've been asleep for
What's
a week.
so when you read the paper tomorrow?
Oh, here we go. Another headline. A last headline. What headline are you actually going to say?
No, like for Monday, if I were to start to look at an early
Am
for Monday.
Am I predicting the headline?
No, you're writing a headline for the game now. You know, like the big game.
Previewing.
Yeah.
Previewing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, your last headline was Cougs won.
Cougs won. They won.